I've got a very special guest and the very first Amaryllis deck list to ever win a major event. It's the very first place deck list, and it was none other than Keza himself who was able to do this. What's up, Keza? Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm very excited for this interview, and I'm very excited to show this deck list because it's not like the Amaryllis deck list we typically see with like Hidden Armory and DDR and that sort of thing. It's a very Cyber Valley Return from the Different Dimension focused list. You won at YCS Sydney. You got first place. What was that like? What was it like to just win a tournament of that caliber?
Pretty unreal, to be honest. I had no expectation going there to win at all. Yeah, I pretty much just started a new job, hadn't prepped at all, hadn't played in like 3 weeks, and just like took a deck I knew how to play and just went for it.
Don't miss Marvel Animation's X-Men 97.
Get this done by working together as a team.
Jeez, bub. Keep buzzing in my ear.
New episodes. New era. Now on Disney Plus.
Heads up!
To me, my X-Men.
Don't miss the all-new X-Men 97, now streaming only on Disney Plus.
Like 3 weeks and just like took a deck I knew how to play and just went for it.
I don't know if you mind that I'm going to share this, but speaking of your new job, right before we started this call, he was telling me, like, he's a doctor, right? And he was saying, like, how he, like, saved this person's life, and then, like, 1 sentence later, he's like, man, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! All day is so hard. And I'm just sitting here, like, what do you mean? You just started talking about saving someone's life yesterday, and you talk about how hard Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. Sorry, I had to say it. I had to say it for the people.
And by saving lives, I mean writing on bits of paper, telling people what to do and save lives.
I mean, like,
glorified admin.
I'm not going to get into it. My man's a doctor out here, right? He took time out of his busy schedule to tell you guys how to sideboard against Black Wings. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, this
Next video.
next video. This deck is sick. Did you come up with, like, this Cyber Valley Return sort of core yourself? Was it just something you liked in testing, or how did you come to this deck?
So we took a bit of inspiration originally from like I think it was no suck.
Yeah, no suck.
I believe it was. Yeah, it was kind of weird. We were at locals and we were talking about this deck, and it didn't suit my initial playstyle. I got very much a quick draw player and like that slow grindy sort of thing. And that Hidden Armory sort of style didn't work. And we saw that he had a video with like the valleys, and we're like, oh, we were literally considering this at that same time, and it sort of fueled that sort of idea that it could work, I guess. And we started making some bit of changes to how he had his deck. And I think eventually we sort of finished off at like 8 or 9 card difference. And it was just sort of that we wanted more of like a grindy sort of control game with a few little bombs, and that was sort of what was missing for me in like his deck. So like having stuff like Return, it's just such a bomb. There was like a big difference that was missing between the decks. I don't know, it just hit my playstyle a bit more. It's much more slow and methodical.
Yeah, and honestly, like this deck, speaking of Return, you've done really well with this style of deck before in the RBT series. You got 4th place at an RBT, and you also got, I believe, 4th place at RBT Rulers. Correct me if I'm wrong, with a pretty similar deck.
No, that's right.
Yeah, 4th place twice.
Yeah, always fourth.
Except this time, I mean, being the first place is insane. And there was one match I remember. I was commentating one of the tournaments, and I clicked off of one of your matches while you were still playing it, and I remember saying something along the lines of, "There's no way Keza can win this game. We're gonna switch off." And then you won that game, and I later went back and found that replay, and it was to do with Return from the Different Dimension. So, yeah, this card's insane. Did you ever like get into situations where you're like looping it with Cyber Valley, or is it usually just the first time you flip it you win?
Always. It's like the whole thing revolves around Cyber Valley, to be honest, and like it's so much synergy with Amaryllis. Like obviously you can't return Amaryllis, but the whole premise is you banish all your plants for Amaryllis and for Valley, and then you get the free conversion back when you return them all back, and then if you can't sync them off or you can't use them that turn, you just use Valley to banish them again and draw cards. So it's you don't have to worry about that end of turn banishing all the cards again. It's so impactful.
Yeah, Cyber Valley's insane. You just draw through your deck super fast, especially with trade-in, and then even if you mill Return from the Different Dimension, Cyber Valley's third effect will allow you to get it back, and then when you activate that return again, you have a Cyber Valley banish plus whatever you banish from your hand, so it like instantly turns that return on. It's such cool synergy. I love the core of this deck. I love the general vibe of it, and ever since that first match, like I said, where I was commentating and I clicked off because I thought you were gonna lose, I've been very interested in the style of Amaryllis deck. How do you feel going into the event? I know you said you were just under practice. Were there any matchups you were really scared of?
I guess like, I hadn't had any practice against Forgs at all. Not until literally the night before the tournament, where I had like my other mates sort of show me how the deck works. But I guess like I'm always worried about GB. It's just an instant lose matchup pretty much for this deck. So probably the biggest side, I'm just glad I dodged for the whole tournament.
Yeah, dodging Gladiator Beast, that's a great way for Amaryllis to be first place. I'll say that much. Did you end up playing against that the Frog combo deck at all, or not really?
I did. I played against Forgs, and that was like my game 7 against one of my mates, Ryan, I think he was top 8 last year, and he's got quite a few titles to his name, so that was my barrier match to get to top 8. So it was a good match, but the deck sort of has a good matchup against like Forgs and Frogs in general. The 4 steel cards, like your Brain, Mark, Mind, with Valley, like your biggest issue with that deck is really flip-flop and not being able to hit it. So being able to just go Mind Con, hit the... there was a point in that game 7 he had a... What's the 1900 Frog that they have?
Death Frog, I believe.
Is it Dupe Frog? No, Death Frog, yeah, like a Death Frog, flip-flop, Dupe, and 2 token board. And I managed to just mind control the flip-flop, Brain, the Dupe, return 2 of them when I flipped, and then just summon and clear his board and like get game. But like you couldn't really do that without all those steel cards, and then the Valley to convert to then draw 2 off that as well. It just works so well together.
Yeah, this deck is incredible at breaking boards just because of those, like you said, those steel cards. You've also got a couple copies of Karma Cut. Really sick card. Do you think this card is like MVP in the deck, or is it something you added last minute? How do you feel about it?
So pretty much it's always a side card. It always has been. It's always been. I started Raigeki Break, I think, for the first RBT, then I switched to Wing Blast, and then I pretty much went every game. I'm pretty much starting in Karma Cut. Why don't I just main it? And that gives me 2 more spots on my side to really play around with. And seeing how much like Giga there was and how much what mainly Forg was expected to be, I was like, this just seems to be a meta play to go. I just want to get rid of the Frog. I just want to get rid of the value, not let him recycle it. And the deck plays so much back row removal already that it's not really an issue. Like you've got Lilas, you've got Rykos, you've got Heavy. There's more than enough ways to clear the back row. So I think I might as well just main it and give myself 2 more spots on the side.
Yeah, the card is great. Did it perform well for you? I know Nosa Gaming himself played Karma Cut's main on his, I believe, top 8 run at Nats. or maybe it was a different ultimate timer. I don't remember exactly, but he top 8'd with Chrono Cuts main and Amaryllis as well. Did you like it at the tournament? Did you feel like it was worth maining, or do you think it's
Yeah, loved it.
card's nasty, right?
Loved it. It's so good. Like it sets value off. Like you hit that initial value, it turns it off. They can't recycle it. There's so many times. Like I think it was in one of the matches, the guy had My Body's a Shield set, which I knew from a dash shoot, and just being able to karma cut it away, or like karma cutting the Prime Material Dragon. Like one of the dragon plays had in top 4. Like you can't interact with this at all, and it just stops. It just stops everything. It's just obviously a lot nicher that what you can hit, but it's so much more impactful.
Yeah, you did have to play against dragons in top 4. What was that like? Is that like a matchup you were expecting, or is that like because Prime Material Dragon can sometimes give Amaryllis decks a little bit of hurt? What did you think of that matchup?
It's Little Caesars Challenges. Enjoy your Little Caesars favorites and earn our best rewards. Just open the app, accept your challenge, complete your challenge, and earn your reward like Crazy Puffs. Accept, complete, earn, repeat.
Pizza, pizza.
Get ready.
I thought we were going tubing.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Knuckles are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
And everyone loves it.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and the entire Sonic universe are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Wasn't a great matchup. Like I won the game 1 in I think 6 minutes. I managed to get like double Titanial on the field and attacked twice pretty quickly, and he was a bit bricky. But it was a bit hard. I think game 2 I sort of cost myself. I went held a leather and like did double Titanial Amaryllis attack into a full back row and just hit mirror, knowing I had to like speed him down. But like the deck has a decent matchup against Disaster Dragon, like in the sense that I think it was playing towards Lad and didn't realize I had valleys. And also like the third effect of Valley, like allowing you to just use it again and again to negate a Lad, was pretty clutch. I think that game in top 4 we ended up going to time, but I was ahead by like 1600 life points and had a Lad that was fully negated, but then just I couldn't break his board without letting him summon like a Red MD and all his monsters, but he couldn't get past the Valley without nuking his whole board, so it was just like it worked out real clutch, to be honest. It's a bit easier than the D-Turbo sort of decks. Like this deck sort of struggles against it because it's so fast, but Disaster Dragon was a bit better.
Yeah, I can see that, especially because you do have the Cyber Valleys to drain the Lad. Normally, like Light and Darkness Dragon is like kind of what you're playing towards with Disaster Dragon in this type of matchup. That or you're kind of just hoping not to get fucked by Mark of the Rose over and over again. But yeah, definitely Cyber Valley's third effect being able to drain Lad is that's pretty clutch, dude. That's pretty sick. Was there anything in the tournament, like you went undefeated the whole tournament, or did you have any losses?
I had 1 loss, and it was to Amaryllis.
That's crazy. The mirror match?
Yeah.
How do you go?
The mirror, but they ran like the turbo. I got 2-0 very swiftly. My deck has a very bad matchup against that. Because like they're turboing out Titanials, and I can't really compete because like a lot of this deck is targeting, and then it just doesn't work too well against it. Like if you look, I can't really get past it once I get more than 1 Titanial on board. I can't take their monsters. I can't really clear it apart from mirror. It's not a good matchup.
Yeah, I could see that being a bit of a headache. Would you say that like yours is better overall into the field? I mean, obviously you won the event, but like, would you say it's like better overall, but just like slightly worse in the mirror?
I think it's definitely like it's way worse in the mirror, but I think mine just offers more variation how you play it. You're not just playing towards like summon Titanial, smash. Like there's a lot more different options with how you play the deck. I think you just got access to more tools really, which I like.
Yeah, I really like the nuance of like Cyber Valley. It gives you a lot of player decision, and brain control, and of course return also gives you a lot of player decision as well. Plus it gives you sort of like a checkmate late game, which is really cool. So yeah, good shit. Other than that, are you happy with the deck? Do you think you're gonna be playing it more moving forward? I mean, this is pretty historic. I mean, this is the very first Amaryllis W at a major. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really play the deck too much at locals. It seems like a bit silly to play it at locals, trying to play a bit more of a fun deck. But we only get 1 major event a year in Australia, so I'll probably play a little bit coming back up to the event again. But unless I plan to go overseas, I'll probably sit on the bench for a little bit.
Of course. And I know we were just talking about like potentially RBT Australia. That'd be kind of hype. I'm not gonna lie, especially because you guys only get 1 event. I feel like that's like that sucks. You know, like you guys probably have the players. I mean, this tournament sold out, correct? It hit capacity.
Yeah, I believe it did. Yeah, it just gets capped. So we do a 1-day event here. We don't split it across the 2. But there was like side events going all day the day before. We must have like 10 or 15 like winner mats firing.
Yeah, exactly. That's like kind of how it is in the US as well, except we usually don't have much of a cap on the events, and they usually go pretty big, like surprisingly big. I think this sort of like blew up. You said you used to play Yu-Gi-Oh like growing up, and then you took a break, and then you got back into it. Is there anything you want to talk about with that, like regards to your past or like your homies or something like that?
Yeah, I guess like it's so hard to get up to date with like modern Yu-Gi-Oh. I still don't understand what all the blue and other cards do, and I wanted something I suppose you just come back into. And I know we talked about not thinking, but Yu-Gi-Oh is like so draining to think about and know all the matchups and all the cards. So it's sort of like playing that nostalgic sort of retro format with the big Go Edison is kind of nice. I don't think I have like the mental capacity to be able to pick up Tengu or anything like those decks. It's just too intense for me.
Yeah, I felt it too, definitely. Especially later in modern Yu-Gi-Oh. I played in 1 YCS. It was a team YCS in the modern event, and there's a lot of learning. I still don't know what a pendulum is. I'll tell you that much. It's mostly memorization. There's like no, and as much as I hate to say it, there's a lot less. Like you said, you know how this game or this deck specifically gives you a lot of lines of play. You can sort of like express yourself as a player, like take a more aggressive line or take a shorter line, like you said, like full commit into Mirror Force, or maybe play a slower game for the return. I think in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't have that level of expression. It's more so just like study and like knowing where to hand trap stuff, and then like it just kind of feels like a chore, more than it feels like.
For sure.
So I totally echo that sentiment. Like especially because like you're a doctor, right? Like so that's a hard job. Even if if it is what you're memeing, you're saying it's mostly paperwork or whatever. But even that is still like you do that all day. You don't want to come home and like study a fucking pendulum rulings or whatever. You just want to play a game. So yeah, I totally get it.
Oh, exactly. That's why I like never picked up like Giga or Forge. I was like I don't want to sit here and try and learn all the lines. I just want to sit down and play.
Exactly, exactly. And that's kind of what makes Edison beautiful. And that's why I'm really happy that you won this event, especially with a deck that like fits your playstyle and that you've been having repeated success with. I think this is a definitely an argument for this deck being in like the top tier, or whatever the meme is.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anything
I'm glad we get the win.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I'm just glad we could finally get the win.
I know, honestly, it's
Amaryllis.
like a long time coming. Like so many second places. I think like for the last 2 years, it got second place like 8 times or something like that. Just like ridiculous amount of times. But
I
yeah,
was more scared I was gonna get fourth, to be honest.
once you get to the top 4, you're like, I have to win. Like even if you get third, it's like
I know.
better, Like,
I was on table 4 as well. I just thought it was a sign.
oh my god, that's so unlucky. Nah, but you took it home. What was the giant card? It was JD, right?
Giant JD, yeah.
That's fucking cool. Are you gonna hang it? Or are you gonna?
Yeah, one of my mates, they took it to go get framed today and like get the nice like whatever it's like museum glass so it actually stays nice and clear. So that'll go in the games room or whatever room it is when I finally get a house.
That's fucking tight, man. Congratulations. Is there anything else you'd like to add on to
good.
this interview or say about the deck or any of your crazy choices? Like, I don't know, Mind Crush. I don't know. Is there anything else you'd like to add on before we wrap this one up?
I don't know. Like the only two changes I think were like the Karma from the main. I switched from the Wing Blast and then I added in Necro and Solemn, and they were just huge changes. Like probably the biggest changes I made in all the iterations of the deck. Like Necro just makes people play weird, and it just shuts down OTK lines. Like I don't know why I never ran it, to be honest. It's very good.
Yeah, it's a very broken card. Like, Modern Yu-Gi-Oh has a lot of hand traps. Necro Garden feels like a grave trap in a weird way. But it's just another layer of defense where, like, even if they heavy you, they still have to put up another monster or whatever to game shot you. So,
Yeah, and it's always like, are you going to play it? Are you not going to play it? And even that mind game itself is like just makes people change the way they play, which is pretty cool.
yeah, and it forces people to, like, overcommit. Like, let's say your opponent has to make a Colossal Fighter to threaten your Titanial. Then you can just Necro, defend your Titanial, then Mark Steel. It, like, works really well with the steel cards and your comeback plays. So,
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to
Yeah,
include.
it definitely happened over the weekend. Like you just leave a board there and you're like, you need to commit 2 monsters to break this.
Yeah, really busted card. I like it in a lot of these decks. There's very few decks that I have not liked it in. I've been playing Zombies, Quick Draw, Amaryllis, and it definitely overperforms in all of them, so that's really cool. Anything else? Any other MVPs? Any cards that just won you a ton of games?
The world ain't set up for the honest man to succeed. America's a hustle.
You're playing a dangerous game with his family on. You think I want Sophia Falcone knocking on my door?
Not really a ton of games, to be honest. Kaku into value. So I had my matchups for this tournament were pretty one-sided. Well, not one-sided, but like I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. I had my 10 games. So Kaku and Crow were just amazing versus those decks.
Yeah, Kaku just murders Value Turbo, so I can totally see that.
I don't know how many times Kaku went through the draw, standby, main phase, and you give them like 5 or 10 seconds, and then you drop the Kaku, and then like whole body just drops, and they're like, oh shit.
And then they can't come back because it floodgates them out. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
How
nasty.
many people forget that? But otherwise, yeah, no, most of the deck performed pretty well. Like I used every card in my side deck. I didn't touch most of my extra deck the whole day. I think I summoned Bryo, Goyo, Black Rose, and then in the and Stardust from a Starlight Road. But playing under pressure was pretty easy. Like multiple times during the tournament, during Fire, like and during Blackwing. Sorry, I stole their. What's that? 1800 is Sora.
Shura, I think.
Sura, yeah, I stole their Shura and like summoned my own Gale out of the deck under pressure and made Armor Master.
That's so nasty. So you said you cited an
It's
every
so
sideboard
nasty.
card? That's incredible. I don't think I've.
Came in, yeah.
That's crazy. That's really, really cool. No, but congratulations again. I do think the deck is very impressive. If anyone watching this wants to try it, RBT Las Vegas, RBT Chicago signups in the description below. And if you're from Keza's area, if you're from Australia or anywhere around the world and you want to see RBT there, let us know in the comments below. Share some love for Keza. Thank you again for coming on and doing this and for putting on for the community. I mean, you save lives as a doctor and then you save lives as an Amaryllis player. That's what I like to say. Oh man.
Don't make that a thing.
Hashtag yes, Keza saved me in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. All right, man. Thank you.
It's gonna fucking happen.
It's gonna fucking happen. All right. We've yapped enough. We've yapped enough. We're both tired as fuck. We're gonna go to sleep. Smash like, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. That's right, man. Bro, we're here with another roster review. It's like it is 2025 WWE roster, bro. You guys have been for a long time, man. The time is the only roster review, roster review. For like, I got you, man. So finally it's here, but to be fair, I did it earlier. And man, when I tell you, OBS told me. OBS really told me, man. OBS told me, but OBS really told me this. Because now when I record a video, I was doing it for a lifetime. And it seems like I was getting for a lifetime video. OBS always finds ways to completely shoot my confidence right now. Getting forward to like, really getting in all my ish. And OBS just like, no. So that's basically what I did in the form of like not even having audio in the video. And I forgot that now on a laptop instead of my PC. I basically had to start everything over because I import things I had on OBS onto OBS on this laptop. So I just had to start over again, read the all that. So yeah. And now we're here, but at least I believe I got control now to test recordings, and everything's great, so we shouldn't have problems this time. Keep shouldn't. Because man, I recorded a video, like I said, really test recordings, and the video was like 2 hours long, like literally. And man, when I tell you, I wasted literally most of the entire day doing that video, man, because I was trying to do it the first time, I got interrupted, I had to go do something, second time, I got interrupted, I had to go do something, third time, I got interrupted with interruptions, and then OBS audio thing happened, so it's like, wow, there's a lot of stuff we're gonna get to, so God willing, we're gonna do it this time, and you know, hope God, we don't have any issues, seriously. So yeah, dog, let's just, no, like I said, man, let's get to it, bro. So yeah, let's go down, and oh yeah, I'm gonna explain kind of briefly what I have in my WWE. So in my WWE, it's like, it's my WWE, I have different authority, like this is how I'm only shaping WWE through my kind of eyes. So yeah, and that's basically how it is. So I'm bracelet for 2024 is completely, like I said, it's not because I don't see when I have bracelet, you don't really have enough stars currently on the roster to warrant such a thing. And I think it's better to just focus more on like the top talent, the top talent, the mid card, the mid card, you know, and stuff like that. So in my WWE, I got, you know, one main roster show, which is Monday Night Raw. I have like one development show, which is NXT. Of all the exists in my universe, because there's no need for 2 development shows, it just doesn't make sense. And I have to waste time, money, and resources. It's like you got to do your all NXT, after NXT is more established. And what you call it, NXT will go on TV instead of being on television. The ratings for NXT are just for internationally good, because no matter how good the shows are, if you don't really have stars like that, if you don't really have reason for people to watch NXT main roster stuff, there's like it doesn't give people much incentive to watch NXT. So why have it on table? Either make it you know, a Netflix exclusive, Peacock exclusive, or better exclusive to Tubi, where everybody can see it for free. I feel like that is perfect. That's the best idea, so that's why I'm doing with that. Raw can stay on stupid Netflix, I guess. And SmackDown can stay on USA. SmackDown will be like the show, it's like a continuation of certain storylines in NXT and Monday Night Raw. I feel better. Do that instead of just SmackDown all together, which is my first idea. Because SmackDown is doing that with the last minute suspense. So yeah, we got one. So for Raw NXT, we got one main champion, one world champion on each show, one women's champion on each show, one tag team champions on each show,
you have one type of mid-card champion on each show. And I'm kind of debating on whether I want to add auxiliary titles, meaning like hardcore or cruiserweight or anything like that. Or for now, sticking with like the very main titles. So you just mix up win tag or win card or like a ski championship. All that's completely meaningless. It's too many titles, it's too many resources, but nobody really get over like that. It's stupid. So yeah, let's go ahead and go down to the rosters. Well, actually, so champions anyway. Okay, first off, WWE check out the gate. I think Road takes we'll just keep on one reign for now until I think that someone else could be a better choice. I need roster or somebody. World Championship doesn't exist. No, get out here. World Championship doesn't exist. It's not wrestling anymore. World Women's Championship doesn't exist. It's not wrestling anymore. WWE Women's Champion. I feel like it would be better to just have it be Bianca Belair or somebody. You can have to try to eventually win it for now, since Bianca's the most established talent. It makes sense for that to be the case. Intercontinental Champion, I guess you could have it be Braun Breaker, but I feel like he doesn't need that championship, because he's more of a world title contention type of guy anyways. I think you could really have that more on someone like maybe like either a Jey Uso who is essentially over the crowd. You don't really see United States champion doesn't need to exist. International West Women's Championship doesn't exist. Women's United States championship doesn't exist. T championship doesn't exist. And World Championship doesn't exist. WWE Tag Team Championship doesn't why? Because they're not now. Women's WWE Tag Champion, that's there's no exist. NXT champion, yeah, people all he's great. NXT Women's Champion. Honestly, dude, it's really difficult to say who to really put it on. I think that could be a moment where you have like someone like or something to put it on. Somebody right now I don't know who's for that. I can't say about that anyway. Sean Spears, North American, no, Sean Spears not be that. The North American champion be Tony D'Angelo, why not? There's only 4 North American champion. NXT Tag Team champions are not going to be Fraxion, they're going to be I guess Theory and Brixton Waller. They come down under. NXT champion doesn't exist. Okay, so yeah, let's go through the entire current roster of NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. And starting